There's so much talk right now in the news and everything that's going on with the Fed rate, right? And rates are going to come down, and when are rates going to be lower? Because appreciation made it so affordability was pinched when those rates did jump up. And the truth is we have high rates compared to what? And so today we're going to talk a little bit about the strategy. We're going to talk about what the future holds and what this Fed rate versus the 30-year mortgage rate that everyone really is focused on when it comes to real estate. And we're going to talk about all that, and we're going to talk about building a strategy for you, whether you are on the buy side, looking to sell, maybe move up, move down, just don't like where you live, that opportunity could be approaching very soon. So we're going to talk about all that and more next. So let's get down to business with that. What's up, guys? My name is Jeremy Kane. If you don't know, I work at eXp Realty and have a YouTube channel living in the Denver suburbs. On Instagram, on Facebook, all the things. Please engage, show me some love, ask me questions. I am here to be a resource for you as we move through this game called real estate. It is my number one goal to help you build wealth through real estate, and I know that starts with a serious plan. And if that is you, there's a link below. You can always reach out to me. My information on Facebook is over here, on YouTube, in the link below. Just reach out, let's have a conversation, and we can dive into your specific situation, because that's what's important. And just so happens that today, that's exactly what we are going to be talking about. So first and foremost, we've been in this kind of daze, right? The real estate market has been moving. I've been selling houses, don't worry. But it seems as though this, 18 to 24 month just kind of lull that was the real estate market has some hope about picking up. And just with news of the Fed talking about lowering the rate and it's time to make changes, that was anticipated, and we saw that already in the mortgage interest rate. So don't expect when they do lower the rate at the September meeting that's going to have a massive effect on the mortgage interest rates, because they are different. I was recently listening to a good friend of mine, Nicole Ruth, who I happen to think is one of the best economic focused lenders here in the state of Colorado, and she was talking about possibly 2 rate cuts before the end of this year, which is pretty much expected. She expects 4 in 2025 and 2 in 2026. And while the Fed rate is not directly correlated to the mortgage interest rate, because that is more attached to the bond side of the market, we don't have to get into the weeds there. That usually means good things, right? If the economy is doing what it's doing, they're lowering the Fed rate, typically that would indicate that the mortgage rates are going to improve. And so if you think about that and you're talking about 8 cuts over the next 2 years, that's absolutely massive for what it could mean. And while in Denver here, our inventory is kind of hanging out and there is opportunity out there for buyers, more so than there has been to have options, that could very easily be scooped up before the end of this year, even ahead of those 2, the 6 rate cuts that are expected in the next 2 years behind that. So that's what we really want to focus on and understand, that what this means, right? Once there is more affordability in the market, once people can afford more, then more buyers come to the market, right? They're doing loan applications, they're getting approved, they're going out there. Now the house is attached to their emotion, right? So maybe they're going to bid a little higher, or they really have to have this one because the backyard or the garage or the kitchen or whatever it is, right? And then they're going to jump it up. Oh, $25,000 only raises my, mortgage, $30-$40 a year or a month. So what do? They just go for it, right? They're going to bid. And so that drives prices up, and therefore there's more people trying to buy that home than there are homes available, and that's when the supply and demand gets out of whack. And I would anticipate, especially if the Fed continues on this route, that we see a very limited inventory moving into 2025 and 2026. And with limited inventory, we know prices are going to be up because demand is going to grow as they lower the rates, the mortgage rates, as we go, because people can afford more. And once you get in there, 30, 40 bucks a month isn't going to, steer you if you're, still eligible. And that's one thing I do want to point out. Make sure that when you're talking about this, that you're really focusing on your mortgage, per month, right? With all things considered, HOA, insurance, taxes. Sometimes we're just like, oh, my mortgage is this, and then you add insurance and taxes. Well, insurance and taxes are part of what you have to have when you have a mortgage. So let's just go all the way and talk about PITI, the whole mortgage payment, and make sure that that's sustainable, because the last thing we want to do is, get you in over your head, stressing you out more than you need to, because the whole point of all of this is building wealth through real estate. And we want you to have a roof over your head that you are comfortable and allowed to live your life while you own. So what does this mean? There is no one size fits all strategy. And I'm here to tell you that today is not the day to buy a house for some people. It absolutely is the day for others. And also on the flip side, it's not time to sell your house for some, and for others, it absolutely is a great time to sell your house. So the bottom line is, and what I pride myself on, is helping clients find exactly what's going on, right? You have to have a personalized strategy in order to make this happen. And so, first-time home buyers, you could have massive opportunity right now if you can afford it, and you can go in before the rates come down, and you can get on, on top of the mortgage, and you can afford it at the higher interest rate. And then when it comes down, you could refinance. Absolutely, right? If it doesn't come down, you can still afford it. Okay, so that's a scenario. For other first-time home buyers, you just can't afford it at that price point. You can't afford the $1,000 more a month from your current rent to your mortgage. It's not a good time to buy if you can't afford it, to just guess or, expect the rates to come down when they come down. Now, I will tell you, in that situation, let's have a conversation, because my clients typically are not paying the mortgage interest rate that is advertised by realtors who shouldn't do it and lenders who should. They're not paying that. They're often paying 1% to 2% below that as they go. And so when you're talking about this, there's so much strategy involved. Don't just take no for an answer, right? If you say, hey, this is what I can afford, and realistically, if it's an opportunity, if it's available, now might be the only time you can get it. Because once the market comes back, if you're shopping at the very top of your price point, you have to have, 2 bedrooms or 2 bathrooms or whatever it is, and there's not very much that comes up, then we have to be able to manipulate that interest rate. Well, you're not going to be able to get concessions and have the sellers help, lower or compress that interest rate if you're going in the heat of the market when there's bidding wars. So just because you get one no, or someone says, oh, well, you're not ready because there's, you're a first-time home buyer or whatever. That's not what we do here. We sit down, we make a strategy, talk about the plans, talk about the options, see if there's options now, and if you're ready, we can roll. And if you're not, we're going to hang out. We're going to, wait 12 to 18 months, whatever it takes. We're going to be in contact. We're going to help that situation go. Right? Families looking to upsize. This is something that pretty much disappeared, right? Because the interest rates were so high. And so if you're in that first time home at a 2-3% interest rate, whatever you're in, and you've seen that appreciation, so now your first time home is probably what your move up home was when you got in your first time home. Now you have to go up further to get into that price point wise. And then you add on top of that double, triple the interest regardless of what you're looking for. That's a really hard market. But are there creative strategies that we can do? One thing about right now is some contingencies are being accepted. While the market did kind of see a bump this weekend, it's still not, absolutely crazy, right? I have a listing. We have one offer we're working with right now. I put another offer in. We're the only offer in. So there's still opportunity out there for you to definitely get into what you're trying to get into. It's just maybe here, maybe there, but let's talk strategy. And then next, the downsizers, right? Downsizers, if you don't own your home outright, there's no way to downsize and have it make any sense, right? Come downsize for main floor living and pay more than you were paying on your previous mortgage. Usually not, doesn't add up. It might make more sense to get a HELOC or whatever. Regardless, there is strategies in order to help you better the home that you're in for your lifestyle or your future home. So let's talk about that. Let's put it all on the table. And that's what I love to do. Let's make a plan. And if the plan is, hey, grab a HELOC and make your home main floor living and roll with it, go do that. And I'm going to help you do that. I'm going to make connections to my contractors and all the people, the banks that can give you HELOCs, because that's what I love to do. Ultimately, I really like connecting people and helping others grow their business. In turn, mine grows as well. So that's super important. So what I want you to do, if you're watching this, whether you're buying, selling, thinking about selling and buying, thinking about selling and moving to the moon, think about buying and getting out of rent and paying someone else's mortgage, all of those things. I work with all of those people, but it starts with a strategy, right? I'm a coach. I have, a real estate agent playbook channel where I coach real estate agents. I have, a history of coaching basketball. If you can see here, I was on a magazine with basketball for real estate. But I'm here to help you understand what you're looking for. If you are interested in that, comment first-time home buyer, whatever, move-up buyer, downsizer, whatever you are, comment below and we can have that conversation. There's also a link to have a private call with me if you don't want to put it out there to the world. But let's have a conversation, let's strategize, and let's make sure that you are ready to make the moves and make the plays when your time comes. Hope that helps. We'll talk to you soon. Better days are ahead as it pertains to interest rates, but that does not mean that the real estate industry and getting into a home is going to be, all rainbows and dandelions. Just kidding. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.